Happening right now, the Department of Justice, has filed charges against 3 people in what it calls the largest hack of U.S. financial institutions in history. Let's take a listen.
The defendants allegedly stole personal information for over 100 million customers, including 83 million customers from one bank alone, the single largest theft of customer data from a U.S. financial institution ever. That bank was JPMorgan Chase, as it has disclosed itself. To hide their tracks, the defendants allegedly operated their criminal schemes through over 75 shell companies and used close to 200 identification documents fraudulently, including 30 false passports from 17 different companies. In our view, the conduct alleged in this case showcases a brave new world of hacking for profit. It is no longer hacking merely for a quick payout. Rather, it is hacking in support of a diversified criminal conglomerate. It is hacking to locate victims. It is hacking to spy on the competition. It is hacking to maximize profit. In short, it is hacking as a business model. The conduct alleged in this case also, by the way, may signal the next frontier in securities fraud. Sophisticated hacking to steal material non-public information, something the defendants allegedly discussed for the next stage of their sprawling criminal enterprise. And you can see that in the indictment that was unsealed. So that's the bad news. The good news is that the FBI and the Secret Service have cracked this case, and we aim to prove it in court. The indictment describes the 3 defendants. Gary Shalom was the alleged leader and self-described founder of the cybercriminal enterprise. Ziv Ornstein was his principal deputy, opening bank accounts, creating shell companies, and managing payments among cohorts. And Joshua Aaron reported to Shalom and participated in the computer hacking and the stock manipulation scheme. Together, these defendants used cyber hacks into major global businesses to help advance several different criminal schemes.
All right, you're listening to a press conference there given by the Department of Justice, and what they're talking about, 9 U.S. companies that were targeted in a series of attacks from 2001 to mid-2015. More than 100 million people's personal data stolen. The hackers used the stolen information to make money off of their victims by targeting people for various stock-selling schemes and among other things. Our Justice reporter Paula Reid is in Washington with the latest. Paula, what can you tell us about the suspects, and the charges?
Vlad, this is really remarkable. This is the first time the Department of Justice has actually named the suspects in the massive cyber attack against JPMorgan last year. The defendants are all men, 3 young men, 2 are citizens of Israel, 1 is a citizen of the United States, and they worked out of the U.S., Israel, and Russia through servers that they either owned or rented all around the globe. Now, they face charges including hacking, wire fraud, and securities fraud. 2 of the men have been arrested, but 1 remains at large. The FBI tells us he is believed to be somewhere in Eastern Europe, and they have issued a new wanted poster for him today.
We heard a little bit about the charges and also just the bigger picture here at what the Justice Department is looking at in terms of how these hackers are targeting not just individuals, but now financial institutions, Paula. So can you give us a little bit more background? I mean, where did all this begin? What were they doing? And we know that so many millions of customers were affected here.
Christine, this was an incredibly sophisticated scheme that started all the way back in 2007. They started with smaller institutions and kept moving along with each success that they had. What they did is they targeted financial institutions because they were looking for information about people who were already conducting financial transactions. Once they hacked in and got personal identifying information about these customers, then they reached out to those people. They targeted them in different stock schemes. So they either encouraged them to buy certain stocks or sell certain stocks in these schemes, and that is how they made money. So much like many different companies, very legally try to find people who are already interested in their particular product or their particular industry, these hackers went after people who were already conducting financial transactions so that they could encourage them and manipulate them because they already had all their personal information into conducting transactions with them. That's how they made all their money.
And Paula, we know that JPMorgan has announced that they were one of the victims here. Do we know any of the other companies that were hit? I'm sure a lot of people that already have accounts at JPMorgan are going to be concerned.
Absolutely. I mean, we've known about this hack for a long time, but JPMorgan confirms that they are victim one in this case. The Department of Justice has a policy of not naming victim companies in hacking cases because they want to encourage businesses to come to them early on and not worry about bad publicity so that law enforcement can stop the hack and hopefully mitigate the consequences. So while the Department of Justice doesn't name the companies, they sort of leave a trail of breadcrumbs with the facts, and we've reached out to companies that we believe were victims, but we're waiting for them to confirm before we report them.
All right, Paula Reid, thank you. It's a good reminder for all consumers, really, to just really do diligent homework on any company that you decide to invest with. Paula, thank you.